Hi everyone, good afternoon and welcome to the market color recap. I see a couple of us online. Hi, Ayuba, Babarinde, Destiny, Ingo. Okay, we're plenty. We have two silences in our midst. Good afternoon and welcome to the recap. Please confirm if you can see my chart showing our markups this morning. Can we all see my chart? All right, perfect. So this is going to be quite faster than this morning session. For those of us who missed this morning's analysis, just go on our YouTube page and watch the video. The recaps are always available under the live session. So this is going to be very fast, just straight to the point. We want to see what price has done at the zones we marked out. Remember this morning I said I was looking out for sell opportunities on USD CAD, and I had marked out certain level points that I wanted price to retrace into for me to have a good enough level so I can begin to sell high and not just catch the pumps. On H1 time frame, these were levels we marked out last week, right? Price tapped into those zones, sold off. So now that price has already done what we predicted last week, I'm going to go ahead and mark out what we're looking at this week to see the point of interest we're expecting USD CAD to retrace into before we see a sell continuation in line with the overall structure on the 1 hour time frame. I know this is indicator. It may look a bit noisy on the chart. Please don't let it confuse you. It's the same thing as price action, but we're using the indicators in this case. So whether or not you have the indicators, I always say this, just take note of the price point at this zone and use that to give you extra confidence on your own analysis on your charts. So there are now 3 points of interest on the 1 hour time frame of USD CAD: 1.36, 143, 36816, and 38032 that we're looking for price to retrace back into so we can continue to sell. I then went ahead to mark out even more recent POIs on the M5 time frame, and that's yesterday's high, low, day before yesterday's high and low. The markups are still very active on the charts. So price has now violated the fall zone that could have acted as a previous support turned future resistance. That's validated that zone, and it is heading for the next point of interest. And this is why it is so important you have confirmation entries. Well, depending on your strategy and what it allows you to do, but this is why confirmations are important. So this has been validated. We're going to be watching to see if these levels hold. And if they don't hold, what are we doing? We're watching out for the H1 point of interest. That's the levels we marked out using the horizontal line, and then we'll continue to look for sell opportunities of USD CAD. Are we together? Please confirm. On NZD/USD now, same thing. We did a detailed analysis. Price had retraced. It didn't come into our 1 hour point of interest. So we said we'll still be watching to see if price is going to retrace these other levels we drew on M5. So this is a point of interest we're watching out for 0.60343, and then the rectangular shaped point of interest marked out. I'll use the crosshair so you can have an idea of the zone. So this is now 0.60277. Second one is 0.60026, and then 0.59980 point of interest. And we're looking to do what? We're looking for buy continuations of NU and AU. So if price retrace into these zones and give confirmations, we will be buying this asset class. Please take note of the price point as well. Same thing for AUD/USD. AUD/USD, we took advantage of our analysis from last week. It was too clean, too sweet. You can see it is still very much on the chart. Price tapped exactly into that zone, gave us confirmation, and did somewhere around 40 pips. So now, POI is still, yes, sir, it's point of interest, not entry. It is point of interest. So you're not going to be watching the chart 247. Of course, you have other things to do with your time. So what you want to do is you can set out alerts at these zones. It is now an area of interest. When price comes to that area of interest, you look for confirmation and you take your trade, be it a buy or a sell, depending on what your analysis showed. I hope I answered that question well, sir. So AUM5 now. I'm still looking for buy continuations. H1 time frame, our structure is clearly still to the upside. Even when you come on H4, looking at most recent price action since April, AU has been buying and buying and buying. And what could have served as a resistance on the right-hand side, it's important to check the left-hand side. Always check the left-hand side of your chart as well, because there are things that could serve as obstruction. So price traded into this resistance zone and we saw a bit of tussle, but now it's looking like price has been able to break through the H4 resistance level. It has broken through slightly, but when we see a clearer breakthrough of this point, then we know that it's going to be targeting other liquidity points. What are liquidity points? Either fair value gaps, or resistance points, or buy side liquidities. There's a bunch of names that they are called in the forex space, but yes, if price is able to break through this zone clearly, we're going to be looking for price to buy back into our other points of interest. So this is what I'm watching out for. I've already bought to an extent, but for the sake of today's analysis, I am looking to see price. Are you going to come and respect this zone? If not, are you respecting this? So these are all different levels I'm watching out for to see which of them holds, give me confirmation, and I'm going to be looking for buy entries. The only thing that would scatter these analysis would be if we have news, fundamental news release that come out and change things up. Remember, the market does not just move based on vibes, it moves based on different news releases, fundamental news that are done by different currencies. And now that we have a little tussle going on with the whole Iran thingy going, then we may see a bit of movement on the chart. We're going to be watching that. But apart from that, looking at our indicator strategy and our analysis, this is what we are currently watching out for. Okay, so Mr. Isaac asked the question. He said, I don't have a strategy, but following yours, I don't know how to enter a trade since you say my strategy, and I have missed opportunities because I'm not sure once price gets to POI. So what you want to do, if you can, you should just sign up for proper mentorship. So you are taught from top to bottom how to take the trades, right? Because I understand you, I was once a beginner as well, and everything I'm saying may just sound like gibberish in your ear, totally understandable. So you may need to learn first these different terms. And if you cannot afford to pay for proper mentorship, then you should try to always join these market color sessions consistently. You can go on our YouTube page. Yeah, there's a free course there, and there are other training videos. Watch everything, consume everything, and you'll be able to make sense of what we are saying, so that you can now start to look for or understand what we're saying and taking advantage of what we are discussing here, sir. I think you asked another question. How do you know when to buy and when to sell? That's the analysis we just did. So it is knowing your strategy and knowing how it works in the market that allows you to know when to buy or sell. When you understand how to do a proper analysis, entering and taking your profit from the market would be very, very straightforward. Trading is very straight to the point. It's just the emotional aspect that's the hardest part. But I think trading is quite simple, especially when it comes to understanding technical/strategies. So you can send a message to us and let's have a conversation. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my session. My colleague Demola is going to come and do a recap on indices so that we'll see if his analysis has also played out and just give us updates on what he discussed this morning. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be back in less than 1 minute to wrap up the session. Thank you for joining. Mr. Isaac, do you have any more questions? Was I able to answer your question, sir? Was I able to answer your questions before we call it a wrap on my end and proceed? Okay, thank you. All right, you're welcome, sir. Please don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be back shortly. Cheers and God bless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the market color, the second part of this market color. And we'll be looking at the US market once again, as we did earlier this morning. It's quite interesting that nothing really is happening so far, so good. Just been ranging and quite, should I use the word? No, not really unfortunate, but it's just one of those things. In the morning, it as if it was going to start selling off rapidly, and then just this afternoon, I've seen a reversal again. I believe you can see my screen now, right? Let me look at this, and yes. It's doing as if, just imagine, look at the far time frame. So I was doing as if it's going to, sell off earlier this morning. 8 o'clock was giving us all of the signs for sell off. I was happy already because like I said, I have a sell position in this market, but then we haven't seen that yet. I believe with this candle structure, probably we might see price sending this to the downside, right? And I'll be very happy personally because I am selling the market. Also, like we said, the market is temporarily in a zone where we can't see anything, right? Because as at last week, we were expecting a bullish move here. I was very confident about this last week. I was like, if price breaks above here with a very strong candle, very strong bullish candle, I'll just wait for the retest. That would be a classic support and resistance kind of strategy. Break for the retest to follow it, because I know of a truth, this market is going to, sell and buy to the upside, right? But then we had a very, very dicey, what's it called? Price action. That was last week, and then look at what price did. We had a major sell-off to the downside. It was really, really intense, and then I just had to change my stance as regards to what we have. Currently speaking, I'm taking advantage of the, current unrest around Israel, Iran, and all of this, right? The tension, the buildup of the tension, also tariff and all of those to we sell off this market. Overall, I knew that by Q3, right, we'll see that push to the upside. But then for now, I want to take advantage of it, right? So I've done a lot of talking on fundamental. Let's look at technical. And this morning, we had some technical play happening, right? On US 30. On US 30, it's more of like a box strategy around this zone, right? Box strategy around this zone. And seeing a sweep around, breaks the downside, and then a retest of this zone, sold off, and a sweep into this, should I call it breaker block, right? Breaker block, and then price is rejecting off from this breaker block, right? So that's for US 30, for US 100, which I'm currently on. Look at the price action. It's very, 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 very annoying, right? I don't understand this kind of candle stick, but then it's just happens that we have to stay through. For US 100, that's Nasdaq, it's more of the same strategy, right? Although it's like a variation of the first one. A sweep, a break to the downside, and then a retest to this zone while it's sold off, right? And then we are now back to, clear the structural liquidity, and we expect it to keep selling to the downside. Like I mentioned in the morning, right? If for any reason we see price sell, expect that these zones will be cleared off. It will be cleared off, and then we'll see price retesting this. So if for any reason you didn't enter from this zone, wait for price to clear this, and then a retest. Because I know something about US 30. Usually there will be a retest. Might not be the usual retest that we are used to, right, per se, but then we're going to see that huge retest either to the week or to the other block, and then from there we can keep selling off to the downside, right? So that's just a bit of what is happening, and also almost the same thing on S&P 500. I don't want to just keep repeating myself since nothing significant has happened since morning, right? And so this is what we have currently going on. Almost the same price action, US 100 and S&P 500. So we'll be watching out for this market by the next 13 minutes. So for 2:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending on the time New York stock market opens. So I'll see, because that brings in new volume, right? It brings in fresh volume to the market. So I'll see if we are right or we are wrong on our position. Personally, on my position that is currently running. All right, thank you so much for joining this afternoon session. If you have any question, just do it to ask in the chat box and then we can look at it together. Jefta, Adesoji, and Osaratin. How are you doing today, Aaron? Ayuba, Babari, the Philip, Gold. Thank you for joining. I saw you this morning during the morning session. You are here again. Isaac, thank you for joining. Usong, thank you. Silas, thank you for joining. Stephen Wadia, thank you for joining. Temitope, good to have you here. And T-Phil, thank you for joining. All right. So we'll be meeting again by tomorrow. That's for DXY. Sorry for that glitch. So tomorrow we continue again and then we'll call it a day and wrap it up now. Thank you so much for joining once again. Until next time, cheers and God bless.